So he said that Dr. Fabra, when you are speaking, I did not interrupt.
You interrupted me.
Would you say that you and other members of the National Assembly are still robbing Nigerians? Has anything changed?
I will not use the same language again.
Why?
I'll tell you.
Engaging interviews with key stakeholders in various sectors.
Well, I'm going to put this question to you now. All of these happening, is it true that this is a ploy to cut the influence of...
You asking me that question?
Yes.
No, please don't use that kind of language. Please do not insult me.
Okay, I'm not insulting you.
Is your government owing contractors the way to...
How would I know? You sent me to go and work in Abuja. I'm a senator in Abuja. I'm not a member of this thing.
Has it achieved what it was meant to achieve, sir?
No, I'm not in position. I'm not in position to say that.
You know, but you had members on
the part is not.
You are representatives on
the question you're asking me.
It is Frank Talk, quality talk, taking it from all angles, policy and politics, played out by our politicians and policy makers.
Join me, Femi Olanipekun, your host on Frank Talk, 9 to 10 a.m. every weekday on Rave 91.7 FM, where we have frank discussions and give you quality talk. Always.
Lovely Thursday morning to you. Thank you so much for staying with us right here on an amazing radio station, Rave 91.7 FM, where to find every bit of your moment, bringing you amazing music and spicing it up with quality talk is what we do every beat of the moment right here. My name is Femi Olanipekun. I want to welcome you on board Frank Talk, where we look at some issues in the polity, bringing the issues closer to you and helping to have a better understanding and have a deeper insight into the issues. That's what we look at right here. Well, in the health sector, that's been one issue hugging headlines across the country. It's about monkeypox. It's a new, disease or virus. We have the expert to tell us if it's really a bacteria or a virus or whatever, how we classify it. But then it's giving people lots of worries. At the last moment, we're said to have 33 cases in this country. It started from the south, Bayelsa and Rivers, but then last time we checked here, it has gotten, to neighboring Ekiti State, and the Osun State government is also concerned and has been taking some steps to ensure that this does not become a challenge for us right here in Nigeria. How deadly is this particular disease, or is it not even deadly? And then what steps is government really taking to ensure that we don't run into any trouble with this particular health challenge? I'm joined in the studio this morning by Dr. Gbenga Adepoju. He is the Director of Public Health, Osun State Ministry of Health. He's a consultant in public health, a consultant public health physician. Dr. Adepoju, thank you so much for joining us this morning on Frank Talk.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Please don't ask them.
Thank you. Well, let's get to look at the disease itself, monkeypox. What really is the monkeypox?
Well, monkeypox, as the name sounds, is a disease caused by monkeypox virus. It was first detected in humans in 1970.
1970.
And that was sequel to the detection in the laboratory monkeys in 1958. But the first detection among humans was in 1970. And until of recent, with the outbreak in Bayelsa, every other state is getting set to make sure that the thing doesn't come near them. And that's why we are here.
Well, is it really, like you physicians like to classify, epidemiologists, is it a virus? Is it a bacteria? What really is it? Is it something we have to worry about, like in the case of Ebola?
That's the name. Monkeypox virus. It's a viral disease on its own, but it's a bit different from that of Ebola, because Ebola, coming from the symptoms that accomplish each disease, you'll be able to say, this one is hemorrhagic, this one is just viral disease. It has its own symptomatic appearance, but it's a bit different. It's not as virulent as that of Ebola.
But it's highly contagious also.
Equally contagious. Infectious disease.
Yeah. Okay, so how does it get transmitted from human?
When it comes to transmission, it's primarily from the infected monkey to human beings. And that's why it's a zoonotic disease, primarily. Then we have the secondary way, in which the transmission occurs. That is from infected human being to human being. And that is what we are trying to guide against, by trying to let people know how it's transmitted, the symptoms that we should be on the lookout for, and where to go when such things happen.
So, for the case that we had, for the cases that we have in Nigeria at the moment, have you been able to trace how it all started? We understand it started from Bayelsa State. Was it that those people had contact with monkeys? Monkeys are the normal carriers of this particular virus. Are they? Is it because they had contact with monkeys, or they ate monkey meat? What could have led to them actually taking the virus?
From the transmission process, it's most likely that they have contact with either sick monkey from the virus, or direct eating of the monkey or any other rodents. Because it's not limited to monkey alone.
It's not limited to monkeys. You
can find it amongst other rodents like squirrels, rats, and other monkey families.
And these are daily cases in this part of the world.
Exactly. Some people do eat monkey, they eat rat, they eat squirrel. And we wouldn't know with the Bayelsa situation, most likely that there is affectation, because aside from eating it, if you touch a sick animal directly, one can, have disease as well.
What is affectation? You talked about, that we don't know. It's possible that we have affectation.
Affectation of the disease.
Okay.
That is when one touches whatever is causing it, we say, it's contaminated. It has touched a contaminated product. With that, the disease process will start. Then we say, there's affectation of either A or B.
Well, we've had different, diseases like these in time past. How contagious is this monkeypox? Within just the space of a few days, we've had, in fact, some people are even saying it has gone to it's not an epidemic. I don't know if you agree with that, or it's now endemic, whatever. How contagious is it? And then is it an epidemic as we speak in Nigeria?
It has become an epidemic because only one case of a particular disease could become an epidemic. You get it? When you have a case that is not supposed to be there, this is a real zoonotic disease that we don't usually have in our community, our environment, in our state, in our country. And when it comes like that, and it's a rare case, one index case could make it epidemic. And that's why everybody is up and doing to make sure that our state doesn't have, part in this kind of problem. For now, it's an epidemic because it's an unusual case. We have had about 33 cases as of yesterday news, and with affectation in about 7 states of the nation. It all started in Bayelsa, less than 15 days ago, and before you know it, we now have it in Ekiti, in Ogun, in Lagos, in Cross River, in Rivers, and the Bayelsa, making 7 states of the Federation. So I mean, when you have this kind of case around your state, there's every tendency for one to be proactive. We have Lagos, Ogun, and Ekiti, which is a border state. Ekiti, for instance. Like the one they had in Ekiti, what happened in Okemesi, which is a border town with our state concerning, I mean, Obokun local government and we have two local government, Oriade and Obokun. So once we had that one, he said, we do not even have to wait for such news since we've started working on one or two things.
Well, we come to what the state government is doing, about and how we can also as a people, try and handle this particular one so that we don't get into trouble with it. But then tell me, people still remember very well the case of Ebola and, how frightened we were as a nation. God helping us, then we're able to contain it here. But we see, it's still fresh in our memory what happened in Sierra Leone in Liberia. How deadly is the monkeypox virus?
Well, when we want to rate the disease in terms of fatality, this disease is not as deadly as Ebola.
It is not.
It is not. And, we're talking about 7 states still having 33. So if it's a very deadly one, you see that we will have recorded a lot of cases, especially the fatality aspect of it.
Have we had any fatality?
We have about 33 cases now, and we have not recorded any dead. Most patients are responding to treatments. And it shows that it's not as deadly as Ebola or Lassa or other hemorrhagic diseases. And that's why the state has been proactive. Part of what brought me here this morning, at least to enlighten the public that this thing is around. We do not even want it because prevention is better than cure. Thank God we've not had any case in Osun State, and we don't want to have. And that's why we've been proactive here and there,
So, what are the manifestations of the monkeypox virus on humans? How do you, some people have said the symptoms are similar to that of rashes. And the Minister of Health also said yesterday, saying, well, some of the suspected cases may actually not be monkeypox. But then for the generality of the people, what do you see? What signs, what symptoms do you see to it's okay, I think I need to go to a physician. Someone probably has monkeypox.
Good. The symptoms that you look for with the monkeypox infection, talking about general sense of discomfort. Let me emphasize here that it's very close to that of smallpox, with a difference, and that difference, goes with the enlargement of the lymph nodes. So you talk about headache, you talk about malaise, that is general feeling of discomfort, like I mentioned, the backache, fever, all this over there in the first 3-4 days before the rashes comes up. And the rashes comes in terms, like pustules, like all these swellings, vesicles, starting from the face, moving down to the trunk and other parts of the body.
It starts from the face.
Usually it starts from the face before it moves down to the trunk and other parts of the body. Then there is high suspicion that this is likely to be monkey.
By the time it's full blown, it covers the entire body.
Oh, of course, but usually it starts from the face before moving down. That would be like 3-4 days after all those symptoms of headache, fever, backache, general feeling of discomfort in the body. That's it.
And then when people say this, what should they do?
Once people say this kind of things, they should move straight to any of our health facilities. Like part of what the government, put in place to make sure that people do not have it is this sensation aspect. And peradventure, we have one. All the health workers have been put on red alert that they should be on the lookout for any of these cases, and immediately they get to know, then because it's a notifiable disease, so immediately they inform us and we know the next thing to do.
So, let's look at Osun State now.
Yeah.
You've been taking some steps. Tell me in practical terms what the state government is doing to contain this, to ensure that it doesn't really spread to Osun State. It's gotten to, like you said, okay, Messi is a border town, to Osun here. What practical steps have you taken to ensure that it doesn't spread here?
Great. First on the list of the steps that I've been taking is this issue of sensitization of the public. Part of what brought me here, because we've been talking in other, media units even before coming around here, to at least to let people know that this disease is around and everybody must be on the lookout, because when there is a disease outbreak like this, all hands must be on deck to know where to go and to know what to do. And that is why we are here. Then again, we have disease surveillance officers in the states. All of them have been put on red alert to make sure that once they pick a case, they should quickly inform the government. Then for quick response. And we are planning to, or we are about to start training, sort of capacity building for health workers, so that they will be more informed as to what to do whenever a case is brought to them. Aside from the fact that all our health workers in the health facilities, they've been informed that this thing is around, and when any case is brought to the health facility, prompt attention should be given to such case. Then emphasis is on attitudinal change, as to embrace hand washing habit, because it's part of the control measures that should be put in place, at least to make sure that we do not contact this disease. Let's be washing our hand every time we come in contact with any dirty thing, because you never know, So that is another area that we keep on talking about. Then we are keeping abreast of situations, at least to make sure that we get information both from the federal and the other states of the nation. So I think,
I'm looking at it frankly, would you say that the state has what it takes in terms of health facilities to contain this particular challenge? God forbid it happens. Do we have facilities put in place? I've heard some states talking about, okay, we're setting up a quarantine center, and some other things like that. Do we have the facilities in place really, and the manpower to handle it?
No, I want to believe that we have it. We have all it takes to handle this chickenpox, monkeypox infection in case. But like I said earlier on, it's a viral infection. We have to be proactive in terms of prevention rather than looking towards cure. We are talking of peradventure it happens. And like I told you the other time, it's not as fatal as Ebola and the Lassa and all those ones that we battled before. And it's when a case occurs like that, we talk about symptomatic management, because there is no treatment per se for this disease. So emphasis should be more on prevention than cure, because most of these viral diseases are self-limiting when they affect human beings anyway. But what we have on ground now could take care of any infected case that is taken to any of our health facilities. We have the manpower and we have the wherewithal.
Okay, is the state government collaborating with the federal authorities, like the National Center for Disease Control and what have you, to prepare the state, fortify the state against this particular disease? What are the relationship between the state and the federal government? The relationship between the federal government and the state is fantastic, and that's why I said we are keeping abreast of situations, because there had been signals that whenever any case is detected from any state of the federation, the federal should know. Like what happened in Bayelsa, immediately the case happened and the federal got to know about it. Both the federal and the Hendy city
Center for Disease Control in the country, they all rushed, to Bayelsa State, at least to give them the helping hand. So we pray that we do not have, but if there's any case, they are always there, to come round to help whenever there is a problem.
Well, something struck me when it first started. The federal government had to send the samples, samples of suspected cases of the virus to Dakar, Senegal. That's the World Health Organization laboratory there. I wonder, don't we have certified laboratories right in Nigeria? Are you saying that the NCDC, the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, does not have laboratories in Lagos and Abuja capable enough to handle this? Why do we have to send the samples to Dakar, Senegal?
Oh, well, I want to believe that we have enough. We have good laboratories in the country. Even the Center for Disease Control, I want to believe that we have good one there. But then when it comes to disease diagnosis specifications, there are some things that we look for. A laboratory could be this big and may not have the reagents or whatever that you need to detect the disease at hand. And I think that is why the federal government had to send a sample to WHO laboratory in Dakar. But interestingly, I want to let you people know that right here in Osun State, Redeemers University has been identified as having a very standard laboratory, a good and standard laboratory that could serve as a diagnostic laboratory for samples. In fact, we got to know that yesterday, although we knew, but I was even thinking that it was that of Lagos. But yesterday when I heard that it's even here in Ede, I was elated. Now what we are looking for in Dakar, in Senegal, is even here in our state. I think it's a good news, and I want to enjoin all other states of the Federation to appreciate the university, and we are going to make the good use of what we have with horse, because like the federal government says that we're waiting for the outcome of the test. From the samples sent to the Redeemers University laboratory tomorrow to know whether it's true that this monkeypox virus is it or not. So we have it with us here in Osun State.
You mean, the laboratory,
the diagnosis center,
to check if it's there is confusion as to the difference between the monkeypox, the chickenpox, and the smallpox. Could you just tell us more about that? How we can differentiate, especially as regards symptoms?
Well, the smallpox, the monkeypox, the chickenpox, the smallpox, like in presentation as per the symptoms, they look alike. But then, when you want to compare the smallpox and the chickenpox that are so close, there is lymph node enlargement with monkeypox, which we do not see in smallpox. So when you have cases like that, you'll be able to look around and say, if this one has lymph node, most likely to be monkeypox. If the one doesn't have, most likely to be smallpox. But luckily, smallpox has been eradicated in the world since 1980. And that's one of the little limitations that we have now, because if the vaccines, when we get to treatment, we talk about that one. If the vaccines for smallpox were to be available, then it would be something that we have encouraged everybody to go for, because to some extent, 80-85% of cases of monkey virus do respond to the smallpox vaccines. But now that it has been eradicated since 1980, we have to start talking about prevention to avoid it, instead of allowing it to infect human beings.
Well, while the Commissioner for Health was addressing the press, some days back. He talked about the fact that government will train doctors and other health workers in the state and sensitize on how to prevent and handle the viral monkeypox disease in the state. How far have you gone about those trainings and sensitization? Have you started training? Have you trained them, or are you about training them?
We're about to start training.
When is that going to start? And how many people are you looking at to really train?
No, we are looking forward to training like about 300 health workers. About 300 health workers, you know. When you talk about health workers, talk about people in agricultural sector as well. They are also stakeholders, because I told you, it's a zoonotic disease. So like our colleagues in the veterinary section, they must be involved in that kind of training. So that they too know how to handle their rodents and their monkeys when they are taking care of them. So all of them will be involved, and we are looking forward to next week to start the training.
Well, between now and the training, what are you doing? You're talking about setting up 3 quarantine centers also. Where are those centers going to be sited?
Well, the centers are in 3 of our local governments.
Okay.
But like, I don't want to mention the local government on here for security and ethical reasons. If anybody gets to the hospital and needs to be quarantined, needs to be isolated, then we just send to those 3 centers. But we have 3 centers for isolation for any disease outbreak that we felt needs isolation.
Okay, they've been on ground before.
They've been on ground,
not just set up.
it's been on ground since we're talking about the issue of Ebola, and those are the areas that we used then, and they're still there. So we have them. I don't know about that.
And then what about, are you factoring also security and the safety of health officials are being involved in this? About surveillance officers that you've allotted at the border areas of the state, bordering Ekiti, maybe some other parts. What measures have you put in place to ensure the safety of some of these health workers also that will be, putting their lives at risk?
Oh, of course. It's part of the training. You don't touch a sick patient without wearing your protective gadgets, starting from the hand glove and what we call PPE, personal protection equipment, and the way they interact with people and the sick animal or dead animals. All these are they've been told as surveillance officers to know how to take care of themselves while they are struggling to get information from people that are sick in any disease outbreak, not even this one that we're talking about alone. So I think they've been taught along that line.
And these PPE, our health workers, do they have them? Has the state government provided these PPEs for them?
We did during the period of Ebola, and they are still intact. So every one of them knows that before you touch any sick patient, you have to protect yourself, as well as helping the patient that is affected.
Well, while the Minister of Health was speaking yesterday, he talked about the fact that there are 2 types of the monkeypox. He said there is one for Central African and another one for West African. And they say that the West African one is not deadly. Is the Central African one deadly?
Like the monkeypox virus that we're talking about is common in those 2 areas, 2 regions of the world, the Central Africa and the West Africa. Well, these are sequels to studies, that have been carried out, and we find that the one in the Central Africa is deadlier than the one in West Africa. And you could see from what we've been talking about, 33 has been affected, and we thank God, none of them has died. But if it's a very deadly one, one will have recorded 1 or 2 or 3 cases,
of fatalities,
cases, of the 33 that have been affected, but they are manageable. So it's just a sort of observation, to see that when the one in Central Africa affects, this is what we observe. When the one in West Africa affects, this is what we observe. Okay.
Well, let's look at the treatments now, and I understand also there are there vaccines? Just to clarify that, are there vaccines for the monkeypox, or does the vaccine of smallpox and chickenpox also suffice for that of monkeypox?
There is no vaccine for monkeypox, simply because the vaccine that we used for smallpox is the one that has been identified as being, good for use in the case of a monkeypox. And now that the smallpox had been eradicated since 1980, so we don't have the vaccines around like it used to be. So, and that's why we said it doesn't have treatment and there is no vaccines for it for now. So everybody should be proactive in preventing it.
And what about treatment? How is the treatment?
The treatment that is being carried out now is called symptomatic treatment. That is, as the symptoms comes up, then we treat along that line. Okay? In the medical circle, when you say symptomatic treatment, it means as the symptoms comes up, you treat those. And the doctors have been, trained along that line to know what to do when it comes to symptomatic treatment, management of any case.
And for the at the individual level, if anyone suspects any case, you talked about general weakness, was what you talked about the other time. The
headache, weakness, the body pains, the back pain,
and then we begin to see
rashes after about 3-4 days,
starting from the head,
starting from the face.
Okay,
then you want to believe that something is something to watch out for, and you quickly rush to the hospital. They know what to do to reduce the rate at which
these rashes you're talking about. Are we talking about if someone has 3-4 rashes on his face? Is that a cause to worry?
It comes up, bombards the face just like that. And you know that this one is likely to be the infection.
And is there any particular size? Is it small or is it big? I'm talking about the rashes now. The way it comes.
No, they are big rashes.
Big rashes.
Yes, big rashes. That's why it comes up.
Even on the face,
it swells up, and if nothing is done, it can ulcerate. And with that, it will be oozing out this virus, and that's why you don't touch such patient with your bare hand, because one could be infected easily. So we wear protective gadgets before you can touch such a patient.
So God forbid, in the instance that there is a case, it is natural as human beings, as well as Africans, that if you see someone who is in their need of care, you want to help such person. So if a case is presented at the hospital, for instance, a child, what are you going to do to the neighbors, the parents, the family, and other people around that particular child that may at one time or the other maybe have helped? Are you doing contact tracing also, and what have you?
Yes, like I told you that the it's not as fatal as Ebola or Lassa. In the case of Ebola, if you see a case like that, you just have to quarantine everybody that brings such a patient to the hospital. But this one is not as fatal as that. All you need to do is just to tell them to make sure that they wash their hands and the clothing. Me are touching the clothing, me are changing the clothing. They just have to wash everything and wash their hand, because they can be infected. But it's not as deadly as to warrant, quarantine of everybody that surrounds the patient.
All right. So on the individual level, aside washing of hand that you've recommended, what else can we do as individuals to protect? Because you said prevention is the best one here. There is no perfect treatment for this particular disease. So what should we do as individuals aside hand washing?
Aside hand washing, there are other things that we can do to prevent monkeypox virus from coming near horse. For now, we should avoid direct contact. Avoid direct contact with a sick animal or a dead animal. Okay? Because we don't know whether it is due to monkeypox virus.
You're saying sick animals generally, not limited to monkeys now?
Generally, for now. Since there is an outbreak, you just have to avoid the bushmeat for now. I advise people to avoid bushmeat, especially monkeys, squirrels, rats, because these are the natural reservoir for monkeypox virus. And once there's an outbreak, everybody will just have to avoid all these animals for now. Again, aside from avoiding them, even if it's, a human being that is affected, there should be a way, to interact with such a patient. You don't touch with your bare hand. Protect yourself, and that applies even to the health workers. Because while you are trying to help somebody, you don't end up infecting yourself. Then we have talked about the regular hand washing. Then you wear the gloves. Then you avoid the touching the animal. Then for now, let's cook our meat. All animal products, we cook them thoroughly before we eat.
How thorough is thoroughly? Yeah, because we understand. Is there a perception that at the moment you cook, when the water is boiled, heat kills off some of those viruses and bacteria? How thorough is it thorough?
That one is very subjective, because some viruses are very resistant. Some of them are resistant to heat, so they can only die at certain temperature, and that's when we say thorough. This thing is boiled, but you cook for, when you yourself are satisfied yourself that this thing is boiled, then you cook for another 20-30 minutes. Then you're saying it's thoroughly cooked, assuming that we're using things like gas, a pressure cooker.
Okay.
That would be better, because with pressure cooker, the temperature at which you are boiling is higher than the normal water temperature, which boiling point, which is 100 degrees centigrade. So you're talking about 120 degree and above. So if you cook with pressure cooker, you are okay. But when you are boiling normally, you just have to make sure that this thing is done, but you still cook extra for the next 20-30 minutes. Then you're talking about thorough cooking.
That's for meat or
for animal products. Animal products.
So cooking thoroughly, cooking and cooking again and
yes, can kill the virus. Cooking thoroughly. That's it.
All right. Well, we've been looking at the monkeypox challenge right in Nigeria. 33 states at the moment, 33 cases in about 7 states, beg your pardon, at the moment. And then, the federal government is saying, there's no cause for alarm. Some samples have been sent down here to a university right here in Osun State, and then some other samples also sent to the WHO that's in Senegal, WHO laboratory in Senegal. And the Minister of Health yesterday also say there is no cause for alarm really, saying we can as well say at the moment that what we have is actually monkeypox, but then that the results should come in by tomorrow. Then we really know. But the Osun State government right here, I say it has put in place efforts, that it has put in place plans to ensure that we don't get involved in this particular trend. Like Dr. Adepoju said, prevention is actually the best way to handle this particular disease. Well, Dr. Gbenga Adepoju is the Director of Public Health, the Minister of Health, Osun. He's the consultant in public health, a consultant public health physician. We open the phone line so you like to ask questions about this and some other issues relating to public health in Osun State here. Let's open the phone line so you and get talking to Dr. Gbenga Adepoju.
You can now join the conversation by calling 0703-175-9177, 0703-175-9177, and 0902-427-3808. You can equally make use of our social media platforms. For WhatsApp, 0703-175-9173, 0703-175-9173. Tweet at us at Rave917FM, and Facebook is Rave917FM. Do remember to turn down the volume on your radio set or move away from it. And please, let's keep our comments civil. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for staying with us right here. Still Frank Talk on Rave 91.7 FM. Looking at the state of public health, especially right in as regards the monkeypox virus. I've been speaking with consultant public health physician, Dr. Gbenga Adepoju. Let's take the first call here. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Akande from Iwo.
Thank you, Mr. Akode.
Okay. Like yesterday, I heard the Honorable Minister saying that they've sent 2 different samples to Dakar, as he said now, and one to Nigerian laboratory. Maybe that is a Center for Disease Control. I don't know. But I believe that as virulent as Ebola disease was, it was conquered. This one, by the grace of God, will be conquered too. But my question now is, for those that are keeping monkeys as hobby, what can they do to prevent the disease? Maybe something that, like a vaccination or something like that for now. Let me ask the guest.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Akonde. Well, asking for those who keep monkeys at home, who rear monkeys like you actually rear other animals there. You can also weigh in your own question. Use the other phone lines 0905-648-7177 alongside the other 2070-3175-9177 and 0902-427-3808. Well, let's get Dr. Adepoju to respond to that. For people who have monkeys as pets at home, how do they go about it?
Thank you, Mr. Akonde. I think the good advice for that, if you have pet or anybody that has pet as monkey at home, is to make sure that you too, with this outbreak thing within the country, you look for these signs. Make sure that your animals are healthy. And I want to believe that when you have a pet, you should have a veterinary surgeon that is looking after your animals. If not, please have one. Let them examine the animal and they will give the right advice. Because there is no vaccination for now, like I said, for now. The vaccine that is very close to monkey virus infection is that of smallpox infection, and smallpox has been eradicated since 1980. So there is no vaccine for now. And
would you advise that people who have monkeys as pets at home should do away with the monkeys?
No, they can keep their monkeys if they are not sick. If they are sick for whatever reason, I will advise that they make sure that they use their protective gadgets like gloves to handle such animals, and contact the experts.
Okay,
to help them
we have another call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Usman Abdul Talib calling from Ede.
Thank you, Mr. Usman.
Yeah, my question to doctor is, looking at the symptoms of the monkeypox on humans, is it also applicable to the animals, as in the rashes, the growth of the rashes and the rest? Is it also, can we also see those symptoms on like animals like monkey? That's my question.
Thank you very much, Mr. Usman. Is asking, is the symptoms on human the same as the symptoms on the animal?
Oh, well, I think when you see the animal, they will look generally sick, because I'm not a veterinary surgeon, but that notwithstanding, you have a sick animal on your hand. But animals can't talk. Of course, they will not be able to tell you that they have fever, they have backache, or they have this or that. It's just a question of you looking at your animal. They will the animal will not be active.
Okay, well, sorry, we have another call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Jamiu. I'm calling from Federal Polytechnic Ede.
Thank you, Mr. Jamiu.
Please, I want to ask our doctor that what is the difference between monkeypox and chickenpox?
Okay. the difference between monkeypox and chickenpox. Let's take this message also. Prince from Ikiru. He's saying, apart from bushmeat and having contact with the patient, which are the possible means of contacting the disease called monkeypox? Another this call also. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Okay, my name is Adepoju Adetono. I'm calling from the Secretariat in Aberi.
Thank you very much.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, I live the Oshun, along the Fountain University Avenue. And these monkeys, a whole lot of them, come from the Oshun tribe, and we don't know. And there are lots of farms along that axis as well. So these monkeys will come, invade farmers' farms, they pee on, say, corn, and these maize, all of them, all these things go back into the market. So my concern is if one of these monkeys is, say, infected, and my question to the doctor is, what is the plan of the state government in control of this kind of animal invading our homes along that area?
All right. Thank you very much. And these other messages, sorry, just before you respond, doctor, well, these... Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. My name is Bode. I'm calling from Ife.
Thank you, Mr. Bode.
Mr. Femi and the guest in the house. My current question is, we are yet to be told how, when, and where the first victim caught.
Again?
We are yet to be told how, when, and where the first victim caught before it's cut across to the other states.
No, maybe I should answer that one straight.
Yes.
Maybe I should answer that one straight. We said it happened in Bayelsa State. Is the first or the so-called index case out of the 33 now occurred in Bayelsa State. Okay.
Okay. Well, let's get the responses, Dr. Adepoju, now to some of the questions.
Okay, like the gentleman that asked about the difference between monkeypox and chickenpox. I said it when I was talking the other time that the symptoms are very close, to each other. But one essential difference I usually pick up is this issue of lymphadenopathy, that is enlargement of the lymph nodes. And, I don't know how to explain lymph node for now on here. But once we get to the hospital, the doctors will be able to put that particular gland to see whether it's swollen or not. Then they will say this one is likely to. And aside from that, the pustules or the rashes that comes up for the monkeypox is slightly bigger, at the base compared to that of chickenpox. But mostly this issue of enlarged lymph nodes is what we usually use to pick the greater difference. Then for now, like I told you, there are stakeholders when it comes to the control of this particular disease, because it's a zoonotic disease. I want to believe that the ministry that is in charge of agriculture will be looking, they too, they are equally proactive towards this one, and they must be doing something towards this control of a monkey habitat that another gentleman hacks off along the
areas around the Oshun Shrine.
But I would just want to advise the people living around that area to be careful with monkeys now. They make sure that they don't leave any food, they don't leave their food open. And when you see, like he talked about invasion of their farmlands. So any of
you have droplets, you
have droplets. So when they bite any food, like they eat your banana, you don't say, because I don't want to lose this banana, let me cut off the aspect that has been beaten, that I will hit the rest. All these ones they have to be careful.
All right.
With.
Hello, good morning.
Hello.
What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm not just my name from
Mr. Olasunji from Otanle. Thank you for joining us.
Okay.
From Flatayi. I have two questions for the doctor there.
Okay.
My first question is, how can we know, what are the signs and symptoms of this disease? And the second question is that it's only from the monkey that
such disease can be contacted.
Okay.
We've talked about it before, but then you just run through it again.
I think I've talked about that one before as well. And, we talk about the signs, symptoms that the patients will come up with generalized body weakness, pains all over the body, especially the back pain, the headache, and the fever. Following which, within 3-4 days, rashes comes up, starting from the face and down the rest of the body. But classically, there is this enlarged lymph nodes which the doctors will look for, and they say, this patient is having this disease. But thank God we have not had it. A case in Osun State. Then your second question, I say, it's not only monkey, monkey and monkey family. And we talk about monkey family, you're talking about hips and all those other animals within that family. We talk about rodents like squirrels and rats. All these ones you can have, serve as reservoir for the virus that usually causes the monkey pox. Yes.
All right. Well, just before we go, this message is from Olu Babalala from the State College of Education, Elisha. Saying this outbreak is a call for health institutions to improve their productivity. He said in countries with poor health facilities suffered severely during the Ebola outbreak. Prepared prevention present uncontrolled disease outbreak. That's good morning. Thank you very much for that message. And this other question saying, is it possible for an animal to carry the virus and still look healthy?
Of course, it's possible. Like even in human, I said in the first 3 days, we won't know whether it is the virus or the other ailments. Until the rashes starts coming up, it doesn't mean that the patient doesn't have it. Because we talk about incubation period within the 7 to 14 days. The thing will have been there. And when you're talking about the incubation period, it is the period when the infecting organism is already in the system and is here to manifest. That is when you talk about incubation. Right. So it could be.
Okay, let's take this last call. Hello, good morning. Please, I'd like for you when you call to keep the volume of the radio low. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, doctor.
Good morning.
I'm Bode from Malaysia.
Okay, good morning, sir.
Actually, doctor, there is a good need for intra and interstate quarantine, service, to curb this the spread of the disease. And I know there should be, networking. There should be networking with the Nigerian quarantine service, the animal aspect of it. Yeah. Because we see a lot of travelers, buying, these bushmeat and all along. Yeah. A bushmeat that is bought along the Lagos to Ibadan to Lagos way can be, the disease can be transferred when the eater gets to Lagos. Yes. Or with this, there is a lot of bushmeat killing and eating in Ondo State or Ekiti State. And I believe that networking is very good in curbing the spread of the monkeypox. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the advice. Like I mentioned the other time when I was talking about part of our preparedness for this disease, we are keeping abreast of informations every second. We are on 24/7 to make sure that we gather enough information to combat the disease. And thank God, so far, Osun State has recorded no case for now.
All right. Well, let's leave it at that. Thank you very much for joining us this morning, Dr. Gbenga Adepoju, Director of Public Health, Ministry of Health here in Osun State, consultant, public health physician. Thank you so much for being a part of Frank Talk this morning, Dr. Adepoju.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Well, we'd like to encourage our people to be observant and, to also be alert. All of the advice given by the doctor this morning, let's take them to heart to ensure that we protect ourselves and indeed our state from this monkeypox challenge. Thank you so much for being a part of our world, dear listener, for your contributions and for your calls on the program. On behalf of the team and executive producer, Femi Adefila, my name is Femi Olanipekun. Do have for yourself a great day. Bye-bye.
No wave.
We are Rave.
Your preferred station. No airwaves?
Without marriage. Rave 91.7 FM.
Redefine your every moment. If you must drink, don't drive. If you must drive, don't drink. Drive with care and attention. Obey all traffic rules and regulations. Avoid speeding. Remember, you have a family that needs you. Road accidents kill many lives and destroy dreams. Be cautious while driving.